Good evening. This meeting of the Tyler ISD Board of Trustees was previously called to order. We do have the presence of a quorum, and the meeting has been duly called. The notice of the meeting has been posted in the time and manner required. As we do for every meeting, we'll start it off with a prayer and a pledge. And Mr. Martinez, it is your turn.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you today grateful for the opportunity to serve our students, teachers, and community. We ask for your guidance and wisdom as we navigate the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Lord, please bless our students with a love of learning and a desire to reach their full potential. Protect them and guide them in their choices, both in and out of the classroom. May they be kind, compassionate, and respectful of one another. For our teachers and staff, please provide them the patience, compassion, and enthusiasm needed to inspire and educate our students. Grant them the wisdom to adapt to changing circumstances and the strength to overcome challenges. And bless our parents and families, give them wisdom and support to partner with us in their children's education. May their love and involvement foster a positive and nurturing, loving, learning environment. As we gather for this meeting, may our hearts be filled with your love and our minds guided by your wisdom. Help us make decisions that are in the best interest of our school community and that honor your name. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Martinez. We do not have any action coming out of executive session, so first thing on the agenda is special recognitions.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Crawford. We would like to begin the special recognition part of our board meeting tonight by announcing our September District Students of the Month. The elementary student of the month is Cannon Edson, a first grade student at Woods Elementary School. And the secondary student of the month is Kennedy Carmichael, a junior at Tyler Legacy High School and the Career and Technology Center. At this time, please join us in watching a video about these two outstanding students. Student success can be achieved in a variety of ways, and it's a journey that looks different for every learner. In Tyler ISD, we witness the remarkable transformation of young lives every day. Let's take a moment to applaud their successes, share their stories, and inspire one another. Together, let's celebrate the journey of successful student outcomes in our hometown school district. Let's meet our elementary student of the month for September.
I'm Kaden Edson. I'm student of the month elementary.
Kaden is a first grader at Andy Woods Elementary School. She is a wonderful team player, collaborating with her classmates and demonstrating excellent cooperation skills.
To be a good student, you gotta work hard. I enjoy helping my classmates learn.
Canyon is also a big helper for her teacher, Miss Kathy Perry.
She just wants to help people. She's always thinking of others, and that's rare at this age. And she wants to do her best. She wants to be an example. She's just a great student all around.
Now let's shine a spotlight on our secondary district student of the month.
Hello, I'm Kennedy Carmichael, and I'm the district secondary student of the month for September.
Kennedy is a junior at Tyler Legacy and a graphic design student at the CTC. She is actively involved in Legacy's varsity speech and debate class and is a member of Mu Alpha Theta as well as the Science National Honor Society while maintaining a 4.0 GPA. How does she do it?
I actually have this little clipboard that says things to worry about now and things to worry about later. And every day I write down things that I should worry about now, whether it's homework or studying for a biology quiz or vocabulary, and then later like things that aren't due till Friday or something. I think especially this year I'm learning to kind of just take a few deep breaths every day.
Kennedy's debate teacher, Miss Christy Braley, says Kennedy's work ethic sets her apart at Legacy.
Kennedy is incredibly hardworking, She probably has one of the best work ethics of all of the students I've ever encountered, and that is saying something. She comes every day ready to work, has always taken care of all of her things. She's incredibly responsible, and she is excited to test herself against the other students from other schools in the area.
Let's honor these remarkable students as we acknowledge the outstanding achievements happening throughout our district. This recognition is brought to you by Christus Trinity Mother Francis Health System. And at this time, we would like to invite the board to come forward so that we can have these fabulous students come on down. And now let's give a round of applause and welcome Canyon to the front to receive her Elementary Student of the Month Award. We've got to get your photo. Turn your certificate around real quick. Turn your certificate around. There you go. There you go. Okay, let's give her one more round of applause. And now we're going to welcome Kennedy as she comes down to the front to receive her secondary student of the award. Let's give her a round of applause. Okay, let's give her one more round of applause. Congratulations, Kennedy. Now we would like to recognize our district elementary teacher of the month, who is Hannah Green from Owens Elementary School, and here are a few comments from the counselor. Ms. Green works with early childhood special education students and pours her heart into every child every day. She consistently creates a calming and welcoming environment, even for students with big feelings. Her colleagues are continually impressed with her unwavering dedication and work ethic, and she ensures that every student has the best possible experience. So if we would like to welcome on down Hannah Green from Owens Elementary School. Thank you, Hannah. Our secondary teacher of the month is Nate Holcomb of Three Lakes Middle School, and here are some comments from his principal. Mr. Holcomb, a 7th grade math teacher, has been selected by the district as a top teacher at the exemplary level. In addition to teaching, he also coaches cross country, and his contagious energy and smile have made him a favorite among students. Mr. Holcomb is known as always being ready to help others and makes it a joyful experience. His upbeat attitude and great rapport with the teachers and the students have been invaluable, even as he patiently puts up with his principal's endless questions. Okay, Nathan, come on down. All right, let's give him one more round of applause. Congratulations to all of those honored tonight. And that concludes our recognitions for this evening.
Okay, as people file out, we'll get ready for public participation. And I have to say that tonight we do have one speaker. And on tonight's agenda, there's the Tyler Optimum Performance Teacher Program, TOP. We kind of have a top public speaker from years past, and his name's Bob Brewer.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President and trustees. It's that time of the year again. Tomorrow is Constitution Day, and I know it's just really tough at this time of year to hold a program to teach our students. So maybe I'll try to have a 4-minute program here real quick. And everything that we do here in America revolves around our first law, which was our Declaration on July 2nd of 1776. And the first sentence of our first law contained the only 2 laws that we had when we declared and won our independence from the baddest military ever on earth. And that's the first sentence. It goes, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to solve the political bands that have connected them with another, and to assume the powers of the earth, the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. So those are the 2 laws in the first sentence that really controlled everything they did. The laws of nature is all about creation, and the laws of nature's God is the revealed law in the Bible. So those are the 2 laws they had then, and they're the only 2 laws that we seem to be avoiding now, and I'm trying to get people back on that track. So then it goes on, a decent respect for the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. And then the second sentence, which is arguably the most important sentence written in the English language, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So, and then it goes on that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. And that's where our founders were back in 1776, and that's kind of where we're finding ourselves today, that we've gotten so far away from knowing our Declaration and our Constitution that was written 11 years after, and then with the Bill of Rights, it was 2 years after that. So I'm just trying to get what Sir William Blackstone, who was the most quoted scholar of our founders, his most famous quote was, referring to the laws of nature, creation, and the laws of nature's God, the Bible, is that no human laws should be suffered to contradict these. So that right there, in fact, is the separation that the devil has confused us on. So it's creation and the Bible are the laws, the cornerstone foundational laws of America, and no man-made laws should be suffered to contradict these. Now, we have a lot of stuff going on in every city, every county, every state in America, where when people get elected, they think they get to make the laws. And there are people that we have here in this county that arrested on misdemeanor crimes and are facing hundreds of thousands of dollars in bail. That is nowhere written in U.S. law. And so many parts of how the Constitution was written to protect our laws. Oh, we're zero. I thought there'd be a beep. Or somebody interrupting me. So I'm sorry to rag on. I
Well,
think you get the gist.
Thank you. Yep, appreciate you. All right, been a while. Okay. So next on the agenda is our approval of minutes. We're approving the minutes of the regular meeting, August 19th, 2024. Do I have a motion on said item?
I move we approve the minutes.
Thank you. Do I have a second? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it and the motion carries. Next, we have a delinquent tax collection update. The two Patricks from Purdue Brandon are coming up to give us a little brief report.
All right. Mr. Washman, Dr. Crawford, board, we certainly appreciate you having us today. My name is Patrick Woods, and I'm an attorney and a partner with the Purdue Brandon Law Firm. And with me is
Patrick MacArthur, also a partner at the Purdue Brandon Law Firm, and we're both proud Tyler ISD graduates, so that's first and foremost.
You look proud.
He went to John Tyler, Tyler High School legacy. We cover both sides of the city. What we really wanted to tell you today is this. We serve a very small but important role for Tyler ISD. We collect your delinquent property taxes, right? We've been doing that since 1970, 54 years now, and we serve school districts across the state of Texas. Almost 400 school districts do we perform that service for. Patrick and I are your two attorneys here on the ground that do that for Tyler ISD. We shared with you earlier some specifics about that program. We're certainly here to answer any questions for you, and we appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. I'll open it up to the board. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Do you have a brief report on property tax collections, delinquent property tax collections of this year? I guess out of the 100% of taxes that could be collected, how many, in fact, end up being delinquent?
That's a great question, Mr. Washman. So, we have a really great tax base here in Tyler. Obviously, a vast majority of our taxpayers do pay their taxes, about 99%. So what Patrick and I are charged with is collecting about 1% of the delinquents, these delinquent accounts. And, we have a really good success rate collecting that small sliver of that 1%.
Yeah, and overall, based upon the normal tax collections and the delinquent tax accounts that were turned over to our law firm at the end of June of this year, overall, you were at 99.17% of your overall taxes that were collected. We will continue to collect the outstanding amounts, but that's where you were at the end of June.
Okay. Thank you. And for anybody in the community who might be wondering about how a company such as yourself gets paid, can you break that down? Does Tyler ISD write you a check every year, or how does it work?
Also a great question. Our services cost the school district nothing. In fact, the school district has entered into a contingency fee contract with our law firm, whereby we only get paid if we collect. The school district has allowed us to collect those taxes with a contingency fee, so it does not come out of your end at all. But our service is free to the school district.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you for the work that you do for us and our community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, appreciate you. Okay, we have a couple of continuous improvement presentations. One is always seems to be a good one. Advanced Placement Dual Credit CTE Certifications Update.
Dr. Kristen Walls, Executive Director of College and Career, will provide the board at this time, as part of your board monitoring calendar, an update on advanced placement and dual credit, along with career technology education certifications. Dr. Walls?
Good evening. Might be able to yank it out of there.
How many does it take?
No worries. There we go. So tonight, we're going to start off with our progress measure 1 for goal 3. The percent of graduates that achieve AP score of 3 or higher, or looking at the individuals that have dual credit in math or English, or 9 credits in anything. And that anything for dual credit could be workforce credit, so like a medical terminology class, U.S. history, and some other things that they can put together. So as we're looking at class of 21, 22, and 23, again, we work on lag data, so that's why we have class of 2023 there for accountability purposes. So as you can see, it was pretty much similar from the previous year. And you'll see in dual credit how it was pretty similar, what you took from one year to the next. However, I did put a little caveat there, which is 48% achieved college readiness. College readiness is not solely just on AP scores and dual credit. It's also if you pass the Texas Success Initiative, which is the TSI test, as well as ACT, SAT. So we can also get college readiness with that. So actually we had 48%. So dual credit enrollment has increased considerably. So when we're looking at that 2021, 22, and 2022, 23, as you can see, it was pretty similar. Again, that's where it was about 31%. But for 23, 24, we had 1,838 students enrolled. And then this semester, in fall 24, we have 1,027. So we're looking at hopefully achieving even more for the next semester, as we're continuously looking to add more dual credit opportunities for our students.
Pause that. Remember, board, this is the fall presentation. That number does go up in the spring.
It does, and usually quite a bit, because this spring we have more dual credit courses that are offered in spring than in fall. So the AP exam score summary, I'm happy to report. We had more AP exams taken, and our percentage pass rate has increased as well. So kudos to the teachers working really hard with our students and finding more and more opportunities to earn college credit. If we look at the state of Texas, their score was 53.9, so we were just above about 10.2% with that. I kind of wanted to note a few of our scores that we did really well with. I mean, we did overall pretty well in most areas, but these ones that we really outperformed the state. So Spanish language and culture, U.S. government, and that was up from last year. We were about 66% last year, so we really brought that one up. U.S. history and biology has pretty stayed steady with 80% in statistics. So that one went up as well. So if you can look at the differences between the state, we are doing a pretty good job in outperforming the rest of the state. In fact, even when I was looking at the nation, we had 19 out of 25 AP exams taken that we outscored the state, so about 76%. So, which I like to report to y'all.
Now, Dr. Walls, is that just public school kids that we're compared to?
No, it's every student.
So anyone that takes so they could be private schooled, they
Correct.
could be charter schooled, or they could be home schooled and taking
Right.
those AP. And we were successful in 19 out of 25, performed better out of 19?
Yes.
76% of the, okay.
So,
Just wanted to clarify that.
sure.
Okay. You know, because vouchers and everything.
I'm fully aware, but we're really doing a really great job.
Okay. So if you took a voucher to leave our AP culture that we have here in Tyler, Texas, to go somewhere else, you risk not performing as well as the rest of the state.
I would think so.
Okay.
I would think so. Based on our numbers.
Or if you were considering coming here from another place and concerned about dual credit or AP culture, you can rest assured that
College prep, you have a 76% chance better to perform here than you might somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay.
well done.
Next, we're going to move on to CTE, our IBC's industry-based certifications. Gave you a couple of years of longitudinal data that we're showing the A through F certifications earned. So those are the ones that we're held accountable for. And then you'll see below that is total certifications. So many of the certifications that we do have as well, they need it before they can get certified. I'll give you an example, such as CPR certification is required for the EMT certification. So you have to kind of stack them in order to become employable with these particular things. So if you take a look, we have increased substantially in our A through F certifications each year. We dipped a little bit in 23, but we also had some sunsetting of OSHA and Microsoft Word, which were ones that we did really well with for a number of years. And then last year, kind of really pulling that up with over 1,000. Our total certifications, again, as you can see, it's increased as well. And then the percentage with students who are juniors and seniors has increased, especially with our juniors. We really spent some time aligning from sophomore, junior, and senior year to try to get as many as we could CCMR ready so that it would help our accountability and employability for our students. All right.
Thank
Do
you.
you have any
Anybody-
questions?
Anybody have any questions? Comments?
Just a comment in regards to it. You know, I always look at stuff like this and compare ourselves, especially to the state and other areas. And I like to say that I'm very pleased with what we're doing here in TISD, Tyler ISD. Make sure we get the right one.
Don't get Tenahawk credit.
Tyler ISD is doing very well.
Thank you.
And we want to keep letting people know that.
Thank you.
What do you think is contributing to this big jump of dual credit enrollment? It seems like a pretty big jump.
One of the things is looking for more opportunities for students to earn credit. I think being a little bit more creative, I'm consistently looking for what else can we offer our students. So for example, last year we credentialed more of our CTE teachers to help students, especially if they're looking into going to, beyond just a certification. So even though they're noted as career-ready students, I look at it as college and career. You go into school looking towards a career, but most of them, I'll say, you have to have some sort of post-secondary education or a certificate. So these certificates and then dual credit for those who want to continue their education are really important for them to get them as much as they can if we can credential our teachers to do so.
And our counselors that are in our high schools, are they educating these students on how to do that too? Are they, and making sure they're getting all these? I mean, okay.
Yes, we have the CTE counselor at the Career and Technology Center, as well as I do presentations for all the new changes that we might have in dual credit. There are a couple things coming down, but when I say that, with different changes in how dual credit and being ready for it, but we're ahead of the curve. I always look ahead like 2 or 3 years. So with that, we're trying to keep planning. What can we do to make a difference? If we have a class that does not require the Texas Success Initiative, offering some of those. So each time we look at each year, what else can we offer our students that can make it a little bit more affordable for our parents as they move on. Me and many of my parents that I went for last year, for class of 24, and my son with AP credits, he graduated with 59. So it's a huge savings for me with the combined AP and dual credit. We're looking, and it also gets his career advanced further. So he is not alone. There's many of our students who have that, and I want to provide that opportunity as we can in Tyler ISD.
I think you did bring up a good point, Ms. Harrison. Our counselors are very well schooled in that. I mean, the job of an educator, the job that the schools are being asked to do to take on a lot of stuff. Man, we're taking on a lot of water, from the psychosocial part of it, the social emotional issues that we're dealing with. Our counselors probably would rather be doing more of that, to be honest with you, and on the mental health side of things, but they are really working hard on the college and career side of things to make sure they're taking the right courses. Because part of House Bill 5, getting this all lined up, 10 years ago now, Dr. Gropel? We are really aligning our K-12 schools for that next step for those kids, whether it be the college or the career path. And our counselors are really doing a good job. So thank you for bringing that up. Kudos to that. Just a note here, some of that data in there is a reflection of the rules being changed on us midstream. I won't go into the depth of that, but I'll say this: the commissioner has always used floral arrangement. I can't remember what the actual. Do you remember what the certification was? Every Zoom that he got on.
There's floral arrangement, but we don't utilize that one.
Not a rigorous certification that it used to be counted, and so these things have. You're talking about the OSHA certification, some of the steps that it takes. It's just not as rigorous. And again, the governor is looking for portability to go across state lines so that our kids don't just have to work in Texas, even though we want them to stay here. But if you go back to that one slide that talked about the 22-23 A through F certifications earned, remember that's lagging data. So the 22-23, the 744 is a direct reflection of the change up that we received from the agency. And they did not want to negotiate with us on the CCMR. Is that correct, Dr. Walls?
Yes.
Okay, so there was no negotiation there. That's baked into this year's accountability. Remember, those kids graduated now 2 school years ago, and it was for this year's school ratings. So last year's school ratings, this year's school ratings, the 25 rating, you should see, unless something weird comes up, that 12-11, a boost into our CCMR side of the ratings. Does that make sense? It's lagging data, which is why we kind of fought with them a little bit about the 22-23, or this last school year's ratings of counting those 744. Because there's nothing we could do by the time they graduated. They just changed the rules on us, said it is what it is, and y'all are just gonna have to accept it. So anyways, that's some of the stuff we deal with. I appreciate Dr. Walls and her predecessor, Gary Brown, in trying to stay ahead of these things and making sure that we're 2 or 3 steps ahead. And our counselors are a big part of that. The CTC does a great job along with our on campus at the comprehensives as well. So. Good stuff.
Just one question in regards to entry into the CTE program. What is the earliest level in high school that you can enter?
At the CTC?
Right.
We have some sophomores.
Okay.
In 8th grade, they have the Career and College Explorations course, which is a CTE course.
Okay.
So freshman year, they take the principles courses. It's more of a in-depth exploration into, if they're in 8th grade, they think, I think I want to go into this. And then some of the sophomore courses that are more lab-based, such as our construction classes, plumbing, manufacturing, and cosmetology, they're going to be at the CTC because of the labs that are required. Then the majority of the junior and senior level courses are at the CTC.
Yeah, Mr. Newsom, just real quickly, we did a few years ago, tried to do a Tyler Tech. We tried to run a full-day experience at the CTC for kids that may have done that. So we even offered history, we offered the four core along with all the electives, and it just wasn't popular. We may be bringing that back, though. There's opportunities in the biomed world to maybe have that happen down the road for us as well. So we're not opposed to trying to reboot that.
I'm looking at some things, working with
Yeah.
TJC on what possibilities we could have that would be attractive to students. But we will.
And how many, generally, I'm not going to hold you to the number, how many certifications are offered?
Well, we have 23 programs of study, and there's generally 1 to 2 per program. So 50 to 70.
Yeah, okay. All right, very good.
And how many kids at CTC this year?
We're
Rojo, do
close
you know?
to 2,300.
And that's like 400 per block, or no, it's more than that.
Mhm.
How many blocks are there? 4?
4.
4 blocks. There's
So when I was there in
500 a block.
2015, I think we had under 800. So we've been pushing and pushing, so.
I mean, of all places, behind the pine curtain in Tyler, Texas, we are celebrating the 10th year of that thing being, it's actually the 11th instructional year, but it opened in,
Technically, yeah.
yeah, it opened in it opened in 15.
15,
Yeah,
15,
the
16.
16 school year. So it's an incredible thing we've been blessed that our community gave us. for
When
our
did
kids.
we start the, where students kind of, they don't have to choose a career path, but like Owen chose a career path and he's like going through the classes, you know.
Year did legislation.
When did we start
Oh,
that?
that was, oh.
Yeah, that's House Bill 5. That was
Oh, it was?
over 10 years ago. 13 years ago.
Or 2013.
2013.
Excuse me, 2013. So
Got it.
over 10 years ago. Yes, you're asking a 13 or 14-year-old to choose what they want to do the rest of
Yes.
their life.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'll say this. My middle child did that, did architecture, and did well. And then he gets his senior year, he finishes his course, he goes, Dad, I don't want to be an architect. So it's still a rigorous path, and it gives them something to look forward to. True.
And the goal is to have that so you can look at the communication aspect of business, the resume, interviewing skills. So that's embedded into all of CTE. So even if you choose a pathway, and especially if you're thinking at 8th grade, I want to become a doctor, and suddenly you're in health science and you're thinking junior year and you realize all the things that a physician does, it's better for mom and dad to figure that out early than to go to college and then they're a junior year in college and realize that. So we're trying to give some opportunities for them to explore. And within that, freshman year, if they really find out like, wow, I thought welding was it for me, but I'm definitely wanting to go into engineering, they can change that pathway if needed.
One time.
One time.
Oh, it's a one-time change?
Yes, ma'am.
One time.
Oh, we've
Or-
already changed. I guess we're done.
That's where that's where you get a little bit of student choice, parent choice butts up against state law and the accountability system to score for us.
So he has to finish that out.
This pathway that he's chosen.
Second pathway we've
Yes.
chosen, welding.
But if you switch after that first time, you don't score. You don't.
And next year, with our seniors, they will have to be in at least 3 courses for 4 credits, plus an industry-based certification. So this is finally hitting, after the number of years that we've been talking about this, into the final phase. So this year.
You got to have a standardized test there for everybody to take because we love standardized testing our students. Nobody can just do it for the joy of learning, or that might be a career that I want to get into. No, you actually have to take a test.
Correct. Post-secondary test.
Post-secondary test to get credit. So we love testing kids in Texas. I say that sarcastically from the superintendent. I didn't say Tyler ISD, I said Texas.
All right.
Okay.
Any further questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you.
Keep it up. Okay, next we have a Tyler Optimal Performance TOP acronym, teacher program update.
as it's related to the teacher incentive allotment, localized, we call it the Top Teacher Program, the Tyler Optimal Performance Program. We have Executive Director of Human Resources, Sherry Taylor. Sitting next to her is Dr. Jamie Curitan, our Director of Assessment and Accountability. These two right here, along with a few others in the room and not in the room, make up our Teacher Incentive Allotment team. Really appreciate the work that they've done.
Thank you. Well, good evening, President Washburn, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Crawford. Dr. Curitan and I are pleased to be here tonight to give you a fall update from our 23-24 school year.
Okay, so before we get into the results from last year, we do just want to provide you a quick reminder and summary of what TOP is. I think the easiest way to look at that is just thinking about teacher evaluations and then student growth. And we, just like the state, would expect that our teachers with higher evaluation scores generally, their students would have high growth, or the majority of their students would grow, whereas lower evaluation scores we'd expect generally to not, to be reflected with lower student growth. So this is actually a data point we have to look at every year, and when you have this trend, which we do as a district, you can actually look and start designating your teachers or identifying who your top teachers are. So we think about this top right box, and if you say these are cut points for teacher evaluations, these are cut points for student growth, you can start to identify who might be a recognized teacher. So in this example, that would be the recognized teacher, and according to the TIA program for the state, they can receive a monetary allotment. Teachers with slightly better scores, they could actually receive a slightly higher designation. In this case, it's called exemplary for the state of Texas, and that allotment is slightly higher. And then the largest stipend or allotment could actually go to those teachers with the highest evaluation, the highest growth scores. Those are our master teachers for the state. So just as a kind of a summary, it's basically the whole idea is to try to identify who these teachers are that have high evaluation scores, high student growth, and then they are rewarded with a stipend for 5 years, as well as a designation on their SPEC, a formal designation on their SPEC.
So these are the current designation amounts. Remember, our designation allotments are set by the state, and they look at the year before socioeconomic data that the students turn in. And so we range anywhere from about $3,600 to $27,500 per designation, depending on the campus. This coming year will be our first year that we utilize the designated teacher earning 85% of that designation amount. And 5% goes back to the non-designated teachers, whereas 10% stays with the district to help pay fees.
In terms of how teachers can earn a designation, there's really 4 criteria for us that are important. So teacher evaluations, which we've already mentioned, on their formal observation, we look at T-test domains 2 and 3. We will estimate student growth, and we use a variety of programs depending on what grade level the students are in. So we use CLI Engage, which we will present to y'all, or we do present to y'all 3 times a year about our M-Class and our Ready, as well as our STAR scores. So both evaluations and student growth are things that are required by the state. We actually, in addition to those, we include teacher attendance, and we include student surveys so that they have a voice in the classroom. One thing we want to point out is that first slide where we mentioned evaluations and growth, the state looks at that every year, and so there's a certain cut point by which you have to meet, and if you don't, you can essentially have your designations not approved. And so they look at that every year. They have to be strongly correlated, and I think this is the 4th year in a row we've had a stronger alignment between those two than the year before.
So this year, we more than tripled our nominees that we will be turning into Texas Tech University. So we have 258 teachers that earned a nomination. However, we're going to submit 255 names because 3 of our teachers were actually promoted to administrative role on their campuses. So we are excited about the number that we have. And then just so you can have a breakdown of what the campuses look like, these are the campuses, what designations that were earned on their campus, and the number that was earned on the campus. Okay. So do you have any questions for us in our top teacher?
Thank you. Board, any questions or comments?
I have a question regarding, and I'm very elated by the numbers of designated teachers that we have and gone from 2020 up to now. It's a very good program. I think it's a very excellent program from the aspect of incentive for our teachers. Now, one of the fallacies I see with the program, I think, and I may be wrong, you can correct me if I am, it's like those designated teachers, when they move to the administrative role, they lose their stipends.
Correct, and they are
Oh.
fully aware.
Okay. I know I've heard from some that once they get there, they realize that I don't have my stipends now. I don't make as much money as I was making before. So that's a little concern from their perspective in regards to that move. And my thing is, if they are good teachers, I would prefer them to be in the classroom. That's my perspective on it, call on it. But some people desire to move up the ladder. But if we can keep our designated teachers in the classrooms, I think that's the best thing, because they're apparently are very good at their jobs. And we want them there with our students. At least I do. No. Okay, I appreciate that.
Mr. Newsom, you bring up a good point. There's two rock stars that we've had our eye on to become administrators, and maybe even provide them an opportunity to be in the Team One program, to where we actually pay for their master's program and their principal certification. I've kind of given up on that. I mean, we're still going to consider them, but they're locked in for these two that I'm thinking of. Y'all know who I'm talking about. They're locked in. There's no way they could go do that. And that's what the program was designed to do. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and just to emphasize this, they have a choice about whether or not they go to become an administrator, whether it be in curriculum department or assistant principal. And we do discuss that with them, that if they are to get this designation. So somewhere in there, maybe they're sidling up next to a board member saying, I sure would like y'all to pitch my stipend my way. It's not our stipend. Remember, the teacher incentive allotment is a state-funded program. The rules of engagement are that they stay in the classroom. We're not forcing anyone to become an assistant principal or principal over that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure we were out there. Application, you do have to apply?
They have to earn it.
They have to earn it?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. They have to meet all the 4 criteria and earn it.
So no matter what, but they do have to submit some paperwork, or they have to, when they appeal, they have to meet a deadline. Is that correct?
Correct. In order to appeal, we do have a process where they can appeal certain aspects of teacher incentive allotment. They do have a deadline that they have to meet.
Okay.
And it's on that appeal paperwork, and anything after that appeal, that deadline.
Yep. Teacher attendance is baked into this as well, correct?
Correct. Teacher attendance is very important. We do believe our students learn better with our teachers that we've hired in that position. And so it's as much as you can miss 10 days, but you cannot miss more than 10 days. And that's something that we've also put on with non-designated teachers as well, to earn the 5%. It's very important for you to be in the classroom.
Board, you may or may not remember this if you were on here when we actually went forward with this. We had a teacher attendance problem. We had an issue. 90% attendance at our schools, and we were spending a lot of money on subs. We had a lot of substitute interaction with our kids, and it takes about a week to get over. We have great subs, good people, but as far as the instructional catch-up, that when a teacher is out, it takes about 5 days to get back on track. And so this was one of the strategies, was to hold our teachers accountable, hold instructional staff to be in attendance at campuses to qualify for this, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We do the same thing for our principals. Any type of incentivization that we have for them, they have attendance requirements they have to meet as well. So it's amazing. We want our teachers in front of our kids, because the data says that a good teacher in front of kids is the most beneficial thing that you can do. We love our subs, but we've got to make sure that our teachers are there, and that's why we're emphasizing attendance as part of this, because the outcomes will be there if the expert is in the classroom.
Very good. Anybody else have any questions
I have a
or
question.
comments?
Yes, I have a question about teacher evaluations. Who is evaluating them?
Our campus administrators. So they're all trained in T-tests in order to conduct evaluations.
So because it's state funded, do they have to be certified?
Yes, ma'am.
They do.
Yes, ma'am. And those are the ones that we bring to the board approval back in August for T-test approval.
So each campus has a certified evaluator.
Yes, ma'am. All the campus administrators are certified.
Multiple. And as you see, I can't believe we don't have some on the agenda to be certified as T-tests. Last year, it seemed like we were going all the way, this next month? Oh, great. All the way till January or February, typically whenever we get folks finally all locked in to be certified. But yeah, there's multiple certifications. And if you don't agree with your evaluation, you can always request one from another administrator, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One more question in regards to, question, kind of clarification. When we started this program, I think I was just getting on the board or something, and we started with a limited number of schools, right? And that's part of the number expansion because we did expand it to the whole district, right?
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, remember, we used that as a strategy to see if we could attract higher performing staff to some of our more, traditionally struggling campuses as far as outcomes goes, and it was not working. And we were leaving dollars on the table for better teacher pay, compensation district-wide, because it is about growth. And we do, even though they're not clustered quite as tightly, we do have challenging kids as far as instruction goes and outcomes goes across the district, and this has made a difference in that. I do find it interesting, Mr. Newsom, this year the state of Texas paid out more TIA money this year than ever in the 5 or 6 years the program has been there, and yet statewide performance went backwards.
I was going to ask about that, just since we were talking about outcomes, like, is there any sort of correlation, even though we haven't released any data on what that looks like with regard to how the program's going?
Are you asking at the district level?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
unless you have state data too, I mean, I'd be curious to know.
I wish we did. No, from our lens, we're seeing, our higher performing campuses, higher growth campuses, they tend to designate more teachers, as you'd expect, whereas those that maybe have a down year, you don't see as many designations. Keep in mind, we have pre-K and Head Start through second grade, so you could have a designation or 2 designations there, even if a campus is struggling in, say, 3rd through 5th grade or 4th through 5th grade. But as a whole, I would say that tends to be the trend. Campuses that don't have a good year or a little bit of a down year, they don't have as many designations as those that perform really well.
One interesting school that's on here is Ramey Elementary, where they had 12 designations. Now, we're going back and looking at some of the early year programming because you got M-Class and Circle?
Circle.
Yeah, that we use for that. We're really interested in those star graded years, those 3 through 5 years at the elementary, but they had a good year this last year. Ramey went from a what was a D to we projected to a B, right?
Correct. Yep.
So I think you're kind of seeing some of that in there about if you're doing things well and you're doing it the right way. We think they had a great year under the leadership of Brown. She had a great year. They had a great year. That's where you're seeing some of the beneficiaries there of the TIE program.
Can you even tell if it's having like an HR impact? I mean, we talked early in the school year about how we were really low in openings, so is that helping?
I believe it's part of it, yes, sir. And because we went district-wide with it, our retention rate it increased this year. So it was really nice that our retention rate went up. I do think it was part of it. I know we focused this last year as the district on OHI on the campus, so that organizational health impact is just all of that together was just the perfect storm, if you can say, as far as retention rate for our district.
Facilities are great. I think we provide safe and secure schools to the best of our ability, having a police officer every campus. And you got to remember that if you are to leave here, let's say you're working at a high poverty campus of 80% or more, 90%, and you're to go to up the road, up 69 to a district that might be at 25% economic disadvantage, your payout's going to be a lot less than if you were to stay in Tyler ISD. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't even know if do they participate? The Eagles, the Screaming Eagles, that wear blue and white?
I don't.
If they are, they're just now
They're new,
starting.
if so.
Yeah, okay.
I love the program. It's exciting. Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? we really appreciate y'all presenting. Thank you. Okay, we have to consider the approval for our 2024 and 25 amended budget.
Page 19 on your packet is the information that's there. Tasha, Ms. Bjork, do you have anything you'd like to provide information on in regard to that? Oh, now.
It's pretty standard. We have one amendment that's larger than what you're used to seeing for the lawn maintenance contract. But we have enough money to cover that coming in with extra enrollment and that type of thing.
And the reason it's there, you and I discussed this.
Right.
That bid came in, it straddled
After I'd
fiscal
done the
years
budget.
and after you'd already had the budget in the calendar, so.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion on that item.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, the motion carries. All right. Okay, we have a couple of things here regarding the day school program for the deaf. A and B on the curriculum instruction and consent agenda. Any comments on that, Dr. Crawford, before I entertain a motion?
You know, as part of being the capital of the East Texas Republic and the largest school system in East Texas, we have the fortunate to be the fiscal agent for the regional day school program for the deaf. And so charter schools, public schools come knocking on our door to be able to provide the services for deaf education that they may not be able to do so. So that's what you're acting on here, this agreement with that. And I'm sure that as the voucher program expands, you're going to start seeing some more of this, not just to private schools, but you're going to start seeing some more charter schools probably pop up. And we will gladly serve kids that are hearing impaired and provide their instruction at a high quality like we do now.
Thank you. Any questions or comments there?
Comment. In regards to the two that we have, these are private schools or
Those are
charter schools?
charter.
Or- That's what I thought.
Both are charter.
Yeah.
What, Ranch Academy, Doc, do you know much about them? Okay. Going towards Van? Okay. Okay. And Cumberland just, oh yeah, but as well funded as they are, the state funding them the way that they do, they just don't want to start up their own deaf ed program? Okay, there you go.
That
We're
was
happy
my-
to have them.
Right, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
We're using public funds to assist with their educational process of their academies.
Yeah.
And they are taking advantage of it.
Yeah, I understand the mom and pop need there, no doubt. Ranch Academy out there towards Van, what you said? Canton, okay, still Van Zant County in the Free State. And so that's one thing, but when you have a charter system, that's another thing. That's what you're talking about. Okay, there you go.
Okay. I'll go ahead and entertain a motion on those two items.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. Okay, we have a quarterly investment report. As usual, if we have any questions about that, we typically talk to Dr. Crawford or maybe even Tasha. And any comments on the
Ms.
quarterly
Bjork,
investment
any
report?
quip that you typically like to say, like you usually say things are really good right now or they're not bad? Which one is it, up or down?
No, this one is the final report for last fiscal year, and typically this is the lowest point of the amount of money we have. And the rate for this quarter was around 4.78 average.
Okay. And then anybody else, any questions or comments on the quarterly investment report? Okay. And then on October 3rd, we have a board workshop. And on October 21st, we have a regular meeting. So, having said that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Second? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.